already know what it is. In Your Feelings podcast. I'm your host, Sky Buku. You already know how we do. I'm sitting here with Camille.
Hey.
Definitely sitting here getting right. You already know. Shout out to 50. This is definitely some good stuff. Keep it coming. But quick question for Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to tell someone a fake name when you first meet them?
Yes,
Why?
because you don't want them stalking you, and you have to know that they're not a stalker.
Well, wait a minute. We talking about names. We ain't talking about numbers. The person can't stalk you unless they can get in touch with you.
Oh my gosh, no! I've had plenty of people stalk me by just knowing my name, and then they find out like my Instagram, my Facebook, all that stuff.
Shout out to all the weirdos who run around chasing women who is not interested. But go ahead, Camille.
I mean, I'm one of those weirdos on the girl side. Like my friends can text me something and be like, "This is his name, his date of birth." Girl, give me find out everything. I get it because I do it, but I don't want someone doing it to me. So
Right. But no,
yeah.
I'm saying a weirdo in a sense where, I believe a woman lets you know whether or not if they're comfortable enough to continue either A, conversation, or B, see you later. You know what I mean?
Right. So if I'm being like, "See you later," I'll give like a fake name. Back in my 20s, I really used to give an old friend's name, one of my really good friends' names, and I used to give out
What
her
was the name?
number. Brittany.
Brittany. Shout out to Brittany.
Brittany's my ride or die. I love you,
what I
boo.
mean?
I love you.
Shout out to Brittany because she used your name more than enough, so now we feel like we all know you. Shout out to Brittany. She's good friends to all of us now.
I know.
But
We've been friends since we were 8, and I love her.
do you still talk to her?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
all the time.
So she definitely is.
Yes.
Shout out to you, B. But giving out fake names. So you basically saying someone to take a fake name or whatever and still try to hunt you down to find out?
Oh yeah, I've had people like leave messages, and back in the day they had those rejection hotline numbers. And
No, I don't. I don't know nothing about rejection hotline numbers.
Oh, I'm originally from Florida, and we had like the radio station, the
Mhm.
local radio stations. You would give out a number, and when the person called it, it was the rejection hotline. So when they called, it would be like, "This person gave you a rejection number." So
No, I never got one of those.
I used
Thank
to
God.
say my name was Brittany and give out the rejection hotline.
And then that's what the thing would tell them?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And if I ever saw them again, they were like, I tried to find you like online because I couldn't get in contact with you. Yeah, people are crazy.
Shout out to the nutcases. You gotta be crazy and sit there and hunt down a woman who don't want to be bothered. I'm sorry. That's
I've
just,
even gone by my middle name sometimes, and people have still found me. And I'm like,
Wow.
damn, I just said my middle name. I didn't even say my whole government.
you know what? Maybe you should have just told him, look, this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I understand too with women because at the end of the day, these guys are just totally thrilled. So you don't really know what the response is gonna be or
Right.
what the action is gonna be after the rejection or whatever the case. So I think women, you know what I mean? Shout out to the women who understand that there's a lot of crazy men in the world where they gotta
Yeah.
give a fake name.
Yeah.
But, that's
Carry
sad.
around,
That's sad. Like, I know, women who got certain things thrown at them because the person didn't want to give up their number. So this is
Mhm.
sad. This is
Yeah.
actually happening in our
It
society.
happens a lot.
This
And
is crazy.
Guys get upset, and I'm like, dude, why are you getting upset? Like, I could be the most crazy person in the world. Why don't I give you my number, and then maybe I could kill you, and then you'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, why stress it? If someone doesn't want to give you their number, like, don't stress them.
Well, you got to understand, looks are subjective.
That's
In
true.
other words, what you may not like, someone else does.
That's true.
Maybe someone else, what you don't feel, someone else do.
Yeah,
You
and
know
I'm
what I mean?
sure there are plenty of women that love it, but I am not one of those women
What?
that like love the catcalling and the I don't know.
I think those are cowards.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I consider that a coward. If you can't be a man and walk up to a woman and introduce yourself properly,
Right.
and say, hey, I saw you across the room, you caught my eye. Hey,
Right, be
you definitely-
respectful.
You definitely look like someone I would enjoy conversation with. Can we go out to dinner sometime?
Exactly.
Like be a man about it. And shout out to the guys who understand what I'm saying. Approaching.
And then not get mad
Yeah.
if
yeah.
something happens.
Exactly.
Then,
Exactly.
Hey,
You have
that's
to
a real
understand.
man.
You have to understand. No,
Yeah.
it was very good time. It was a great time meeting you. Whatever. Hopefully, we'll meet again in the future and walk away from that.
Right. And
You know?
then as a woman, we should be respectful and be like, thank you very much for this compliment. Or I'm taken. Thank you very much, but not at this time. Or yada yada yada. Thank you
Right.
very. You know what I mean?
Right,
Just be nice
right,
about it.
Right. Very cordial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Back in my 20s, I used to be like, shut up, I don't want to hear you talk. But now,
You're
I'm
grown.
older,
Yeah.
I'm grown, I'm like, oh, thank you.
You're a grown woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
At least you understand.
You gotta grow.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't evolve.
No, they don't.
You know
You
what I
have to.
You know, like these relationships, or should I say, gatherings, or, you know, people where they're getting a chance to meet and talk. You know, you get an opportunity to exchange some words with a person. Sometimes you should just be happy with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you get into a conversation, sometimes it isn't always about a sexual encounter or
Exactly.
a
It's
date
about a
or whatever.
good
You know what I mean?
experience.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe sometimes you can spend a substantial amount of time around a person to the point where you get to know them and realize, well, damn, they'd be a cool friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or a cool
course.
person to get to know where, you know what I mean? You never fucking know. And I think people
Exactly.
lose sight of that and just go straight for whatever they're going for versus trying to deal with it in a sense and saying, well, this might be a cool person. You never know where this person might be able to help me with in the future later. Like, stop thinking that it's always got to be a sexual thing attached to something
This
that
is
isn't
very
there.
true.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? And I think a
It's
lot of
not-
men lose sight of that.
I think so too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. It's really, really sad. Shout out to the dudes who can accept rejection, because you should be able to accept rejection, because
Mhm.
everything's not going to always go your way, and women are going to like who they like and be attracted to who they're attracted to.
Yeah.
That's good.